David Brown. I'm the chair of the Department of Physics and Astronomy here at the University of Louisville. I'm pleased to welcome you to the 9th annual William Marshall Bullitt Lecture in Astronomy. William Marshall Bullitt was a Louisville native, a brilliant lawyer, and a very avid amateur astronomer and mathematician. He graduated from Princeton University in 1894 at the age of 21, and 1 year later got his law degree from the University of Louisville. He then began an extremely successful career as a lawyer that spanned more than 50 years and involved more than 50 cases argued in front of the U.S. Supreme Court, which is not something that most lawyers can say. He was appointed Solicitor General of the United States by President Taft in 1912, and that was just one of many professional accomplishments during his career. He was also a friend or correspondent with many of the great scientists and mathematicians of his day, including Einstein. He was a collector of rare books, both in mathematics and in science. And if you go to the Ekstrom Library here at the University of Louisville, you'll find the Bullitt collection in the rare book section. And it's an incredible collection. In there you'll find original works by Einstein, Newton, René Descartes, Galileo, Euclid, and these are first prints. Just last spring, our Society of Physics students visited the library, and not only did they get to see Isaac Newton's scribbling in the margins of his Principia book, but they actually got to touch the spot. And so that's a wonderful thing. And we have that library here at the University of Louisville due to the forethought and tenacity of William Marshall Bullitt and the generosity of his family. Likewise, our ability to have this lecture series, now in its 9th year, is due to the generosity of a family member of William Marshall Bullitt, his grandson. And so tonight I'd like to introduce, recognize, and thank Mr. Lowry Watkins, Jr. Lowry. Mr. Watkins has also established a scholarship award, also named for his grandfather, William Marshall Bullitt, and that allows some of our outstanding young students, undergraduates who are studying astronomy, to receive financial aid during their studies. And so this year we're very pleased to have 2 outstanding students that we were able to award scholarships to, and I'd like to introduce them now. And if Mr. Watkins will agree, I'd like him to present the awards to our students. They will be receiving a letter of commendation tonight and a certificate, and they've also already received a financial award that's in their financial aid dockets. So, Mr. Watkins, would you come forward? Our first recipient tonight is Mr. Matt Nichols. He's receiving our junior award. He is a sophomore who is majoring in physics, studying in the astronomy and astrophysics track, and he's always been an avid amateur astronomer. He owns his own telescope or 2, and for fun, he built an astrolabe. So we'd like to recognize his outstanding achievement, both in the classroom and outside as an astronomer, with the William Marshall Bullitt Scholarship. I'd like to present that to him, and we'll get a picture too. Did it? Excellent. Our second award winner is a junior, a triple major in music, mathematics, and physics, who enjoys playing the saxophone and studying, obviously. He's a junior, as I said, with high scholastic merit and doing research in high-energy physics as related to astrophysics. And we'd like to recognize him for his outstanding achievement, Mr. Ryan Sanders. Thank you very much. I would like to now introduce one of the members of our faculty currently on leave, but he was very nice to return for tonight's lecture. He's currently in a year-long position at the University of Nice in France, which I hear is very nice. And so we welcome him, Dr. Jerry Villiger.
Thanks, Dave. Nice is nice, but tonight Louisville is nicer despite the weather, and I thank everyone for coming out in this unusually wet evening. I'd like to thank Mr. Lowry Watkins, Jr. for being the benefactor for this evening and for this educational evening, because the gift of education is like fire, and the gift of education, like fire, can spread. You need just a spark, and then it can spread and spread and spread and grow brighter and brighter and brighter. And I hope that what you take away from here, you can give to your friends and let that spark grow ever brighter. I'd like to thank a few other people and organizations for helping this evening come about, because there's a lot of work involved in this. First of all, an off-campus organization, the Louisville Astronomical Society, has passed out posters as usual and publicized this event on its website. Any members of the LAS here? They're always very supportive. And also the Mortarboard National Senior Honorary Louisville chapter has been passing out posters and publicizing the event. Any members of Mortarboard here? And also the Society of Physics students, who, aside from being a very studious group of students, is actually a very strong service organization, and they help to promote the study and appreciation and wider dissemination of physics in the university and in wider circles. They also help to publicize the event, and they're also helping with some of the logistics with before and after the lecture. Any members of SPS here? Okay. Thank you very much to all of you. I'd like to take a brief poll, because we actually worked very hard to publicize the Bullitt Lecture in Astronomy. So we've tried various ways to let people know about this. How many of you heard about this on WFPL, on State of Affairs? Okay, a few of you. And how many of you have seen posters either around campus or around town? Okay, fair number. How many of you had an internet blast from the planetarium? All right. And how many of you have had your teachers in your various classes in the Department of Physics and Astronomy tell you about this lecture? Okay, all right. Well, you are holding up the flag. Thank you very much. That helps us to give our efforts in the appropriate directions to make this an ever more popular event. So I'd like to introduce our speakers tonight. I'm going to introduce them in reverse order, because it would be nicer to lead in with the person who's giving the first talk last. So the second person you're going to hear is a civil servant for the NASA Glenn Research Center in Cleveland, Ohio. His name is Phil Abel. He did his bachelor's degree at the University of Chicago in mathematics. Then he did his PhD in physics at Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland. And from there, he told me that he was very lucky. And actually, sometimes, folks, for you students, sometimes this works. He literally defended his thesis on a Friday, and he started work on a Monday. Now, I'm sure he did his legwork before. He might tell you about that. It didn't just happen, but it can work